kind of want to know what it depends on as far as, what Mike's view is. Like, what would you say, like, how involved do you think? Like, what things do you think we should do in politics? We can do, maybe there's some liberty there to be able to not or yes, and then also what we just don't need to do.
I would say, when it comes to this, I would say I will lean more to when it becomes a division, a problem like prime example, abortions, things. I would say I would speak on them those things when
Mm-hmm.
it don't goes against scripture or it's
Yeah.
backing up scripture. Then that's when I speak on those things. But then you got the parts where it causes division. Like you got one side here, one side there, and it's like, you know, that's not what it's about. At least for Christians, I'm not speaking for the world. So
Yeah.
that's where my line is.
And that makes sense. It's like it's hard, even especially on a topic like abortion, right? So from a Christian standpoint, it should be an absolute no.
Yeah.
Yep.
But from a country, people have a right to choose how they want to live their
Yeah.
life. And yeah, I may not agree with that, and yeah, we'll say it's murder, this and that's what makes it tough.
Yeah.
Because it's very divisive.
Yeah.
But then that leads to the next question: how has it been presented? Why is why is the topic of abortion anything other than the killing of babies? Because I hear what's the common argument? It's a woman's right to her, but no,
Woman's right. It's not a human. It's what's the other one? There's some more, but I think they get more. Oh, are you gonna take care of the baby when they come out? Like, there's a few of them like that.
and then the biggest one I think is, as men, we don't have a right to tell the woman what to do with her body.
Mhm.
Okay, but do you have a right to tell that baby what to do with their body?
I like that. That's facts.
And then let's talk about this vaccine that came out. But y'all were trying to force this vaccine on us, and that argument of it's my body, my right, went out the door.
I think we can talk about it now
You
without
know.
getting canceled. I think we're in the clear, but if
So-
we're not, I didn't know.
But you see the hypocrisy of that argument there. Is like, so on one hand, it's a woman's right to do with her body, but when it comes to vaccines, you just need to take it and just be quiet. You know what I mean? And that's where it gets really hard, because there's some legitimate with something like COVID, right? Something that spreads that easy.
But when you say, like, because I agree with you, but when you say there's another extreme as far as like the vaccine has rat poison in it and you're gonna die in 3 years if you take it, like, then it causes even more confusion.
Yeah.
So now it's like we can't even discuss it, because now we try to have a sensible discussion, and then somebody's just, you're killing so many people by not taking it.
Yeah.
And then you're killing so many people by taking it. Like, why would you do that to you? And it's
Yeah.
like, yo, this is a serious topic. Let's just talk about it, because we need to come at it with a logical view. Like, come on, guys. Like, I'm not going to put somebody down. I think it's Romans 14 that goes into this, because somebody's weak.
Mhm.
You don't despise that person just because they may not have
Yeah.
faith that God will heal their body, and they may feel they need the vaccine. Like, I'm gonna have compassion for that person. I'll even, if I go to their house, I will wear a mask around them just to be
Yeah.
respectful. Not in my own house. You don't expect me to wear a mask in my own house. But around you, if there's somebody that's sick and he just wants you to wear, I'm not gonna be the the butt that cause an issue like that.
And it's tough. I mean, because I was in people's houses during the pandemic, and so it was, I mean, of course, you had to wear the mask. It was the height of it. So, in and of itself, like personally, internally, I'm dying on the inside because I got this
Just
mask
reading
on.
comments. I'm sorry.
But at the same time, you're right. It's your house, so I'm gonna respect the rules of your house. And but I think from a political standpoint, that's where it gets tricky, because, like I was saying earlier, when your livelihood is on, like if I'm a career politician, I'm making money, my income is based on this, and something like COVID comes up, that's my life on the line. You know what I mean? Like, forget the spread of the pandemic. If I make a decision and I take a hard stance, I lose half of my constituency. I'm out of a job and never to be heard from again. And
Yeah.
so that's where I think the bigger struggle comes in, is like, can you be a politician and hold to your values 100%, 100% of the time? That's where it becomes really questionable to me. Like on a theoretical level, you should express your voice. If you have the capacity to serve in those positions, by all means do it.
Yeah.
But a reality check to that is it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's why I say, like, even with churches, like, smaller churches don't have to worry about as much as bigger churches.
Mm-hmm.
So if you speak against, COVID and, the stab and all that, then when you get a bigger church, you better be consistent because you talked all that junk when
Yeah.
and I feel you. I don't want to, like, I had seizures when I was younger. So
Mm-hmm.
they're showing stuff about this stuff could cause seizures, and I'm a little more cautious thinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I just have been raised in a way where God is taking care of my body, and I've just always took it to, like, what am I putting in my body, and being healthy.
Right.
So I stray away from, like, even medicine for a headache. I don't want to
Yeah.
take. I've just always been that way. So
Yeah.
to me, it's nothing to do with am I really worried about what that is gonna do to my body. I'm not, like, I would just take it like I've taken the flu shot a few
Yeah.
times, and just not even think twice about it. But um, just I've seen certain things, and for a second, yeah, it put a little fear in me. So
Yeah.
don't be surprised that I'm a little shook up because of what I've seen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Because that was I met a guy that was over a hospital's COVID, pretty well known hospital here, and we got into a discussion about it, and I said, I have allergies. I developed allergies as I got older. Had taken aspirin all my life, and all of a sudden I've got an allergic reaction to it. I said, can you guarantee me there's no allergic reaction to this vaccine? And of course, his answer was, well, you don't have to worry about all that, but can you guarantee it? You know what I mean? Like, I had taken aspirin all my life, and suddenly I take it one day, and now I'm allergic to it. So here's this brand new vaccination y'all came up with in about a year, and I'm supposed to trust it. So it doesn't get so tricky. But you're right on the bigger your church. If I'm a pastor and I take a stance, am I losing my livelihood here? And it's easy to say that when you're not in that position, but man, when that's all and then it's gone, and then well, trust God, sure, but if you're pastoring a flock of 1,500 people, that's pretty good living there. You're not gonna reset. You're not gonna go apply for a job, right? Like if most of us lose our job here, we're just going down here to the next one, putting in a resume,
Yeah.
And but as a pastor, it becomes tough.
And it's scary when people in your church actually start getting sick because they don't have the
Yeah.
same faith as you, and then
Yeah.
they shut you down because you allowed this to go. I mean, hey, if you've got enough faith for all your 1,500 members to be
Hey,
healed,
hey, take
then
me on
just
up.
tell me where your church is, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and
but yeah.
the other thing that I think consider is the uh,
Hello,
yeah.
Nakia. I don't know if you know your phone is
Yeah.
on.
is what role does social media play in politics?
Mm.
Like let's take I mean, we're kind of on the COVID topic, but would we have been as afraid of COVID if not for social media? You know what I mean? Like,
True.
if you take the COVID, and now there've been pandemics in the past where they did some of like the Spanish flu, I think was one, but are our reactions related to social media? Or do our opinions come from our exposure to this constant barrage of what we see in social media? But and that's I'm not bad mouthing social media either, but if you eliminate social media, what's our influence going to come from then? Our local communities probably. So, there and again, we can't get around the politics of it all. It's ingrained in us, and I think the bigger question is how much do we let in? Is our Christianity and how we're discussing and living kind of being tainted by an outside influence? I talked about woke Christianity last week, and it was kind of this stuff bleeds into us, and then we react in a particular way that we justify with Scripture. You know, if I'm a politician and I'm holding an office, I can justify my actions with Scripture. Oh, but my intention is bad. You know, my intention is off, and I think that uh, I don't know. It's such a difficult topic, you know, because
Yeah.
I don't want to go off a rabbit hole, or and we get off topic, but it's so many facets of this that I think it
There's a lot of questions people have, and this
it
is
is.
stuff that people think about, but then they can't talk about it because it's such a tough thing, and then they don't know how to talk about it.